we got to Khanom, Thailand, we went to Big C in Nakhon Si Thammarat for shopping. We already knew Big C from Chiang Mai, not as big as Makro, but a very good selection and still very big in Chiang Mai. We knew that Khanom is quite small and won't have any big stores, but we knew that they have a Lotus. And Lotus we already knew from Mei Rim. And the Lotus in Mei Rim was quite small, but it did have some fresh meat, chicken and pork, and even some fresh seafood, but also frozen seafood and meat, eggs. So yeah, it has stuff for me for a carnivore, but I remember in Mei Rim it was little and it didn't have a very big selection. So that's why we thought, hey, let's go to the Big C in Nakhon Si Thammarat to do a real big shopping before we go to Khanom, where it's small, where we will only have the Lotus. So for 6 weeks, so at least we have one big shopping spree. But I actually was disappointed at the Big C in Nakhon Si Thammarat. It wasn't big at all. Not as big as the one in Chiang Mai. Well, yeah, of course, Chiang Mai is much bigger. So in that Big C, there wasn't really a good selection. Yeah, of course, it did have meat and seafood, frozen and fresh, but just not what I expected. But what I did find was the fish sauce I love so much from Squid brand from Thailand, the only one that I found so far that is clean, that only has anchovies and salt. But I didn't buy it because I still had enough fish sauce from Indonesia that I brought with me. To be clear, in Indonesia, I bought the same fish sauce, the Thai Squid brand fish sauce. We still bought a lot of pork, eggs, very little chicken and salmon, sparkling waters, and some ready-to-eat food for Paul. So when we got to Khanom, our host showed us around and we checked out Lotus. Hell, that Lotus there is so much better than the Lotus we knew from Mei Rim. It was much bigger, as it had a much better selection of fresh pork and chicken. Like there was a lot, and fish and seafood, but the fish didn't really look that good, didn't look fresh, so I didn't buy any of that. And there was even jellyfish, well, in a package. But unfortunately, so I didn't buy it when I saw the jellyfish. And unfortunately, then some days later, when we went there and actually bought some food, they didn't have it anymore. And in those 6 weeks we were there, they never had the jellyfish anymore. Yeah, I already knew jellyfish. I had jellyfish for the first time in Mei Rim. So here is the video about that. I really, really liked it. So I was a bit sad I couldn't get it anymore, but it wasn't such a big deal. It was okay. At the Wednesday market, they had a big selection of seafood, pork and chicken. The selection was much bigger than the one at Lotus. So that's the place where to shop. And then that's where we went almost once a week. But we still also went to Lotus to get stuff. And yes, at the Wednesday market, there was a woman that was selling beef. At Lotus, there was only frozen beef. So at the market, the lean piece of beef was 250 Thai baht per kilogram. That is $7.88, and the fattier piece 280 Thai baht, what is $8.82 per kilogram. Fuck, that is cheap. But it wasn't aged and those weren't steaks, so you had to cook it for a long time, but it was good. It was tasty, and hey, some beef. She also had ribeye steaks, but those were 300 Thai baht per kilogram. That is $9.30 per kilogram. So that is actually, for Thailand, super expensive. We still got 2 steaks, and I showed her where to cut it, and apparently we got 2 steaks for almost exactly 500 grams each. So we bought a kilogram of ribeye steaks. Also interesting, countries like the US and Switzerland, they sell the fattier pieces of meat cheaper than the leaner meat. And in Khanom, in Thailand, it was exactly the opposite. The fattier pieces were more expensive than the lean meat. So at that open market, we could find a lot more than at Lotus. For example, pork ribs. Lotus didn't sell pork ribs, but the open market did. And they were selling whole chickens at the open market. Lotus also didn't do that, just parts of the chicken. And the whole chicken at the open market, it cost 120 Thai baht, $3.78. I'm totally used to it now that when I buy a whole chicken, I actually get a whole chicken with head and feet, what I absolutely love. I think that's great. That is a whole chicken. But I'm not used to it yet that when I buy a whole chicken, that I get a ungutted chicken. So I didn't realize that. Chicken is taking a bath here, a foot bath. I'm really so stupid. I didn't realize this chicken wasn't gutted, so now all the intestines are still in there. Yeah, at the market you get a whole chicken, and well, yeah, the feathers are off, but everything else is still on and in it. So now I'm gonna take off the legs and the wings, and then I'm gonna boil it until it's done, and then Paul will degut it, and then we're gonna boil it again, scald it again to make it safe.
Shit, I popped it. Fuck.
So now everything's contaminated.
Yeah, I told you it would probably most likely get contaminated. And it's too hot, I can't touch it. It's
I told you we should.
gonna stink like shit.
We should.
Chest, and you're just not gonna get it out without making a big mess. We have unlimited hot.
So most of the chicken I threw away. Here I took some off from the breast for this guy here, but for tomorrow he already got raw beef today and a half boiled egg, and of course his regular food. Paul is gonna discard the rest of the chicken now. We're not gonna put it here in the trash because it attracts animals. And yeah, here he goes with the trash. And here I saved those parts, and I'm gonna boil them again, so they should be safe to eat. So I decided not to eat the legs and the wings. I took the meat off. It's really tough. So it's super tough. So that's really a soup chicken. I should have cooked it much longer, but I just don't want to deal with that chicken anymore. So wow, all this will be for Yadong. Wow, he's gonna have a feast for like 3 days or so. So cool. This, I'm still gonna keep the head, and I'm gonna cook the shit out of it because I absolutely love this. It's a delicacy, the Khanom. I love it so much. So, and usually the chickens, it is a chicken, I checked, I thought it was a rooster first, but usually the chickens I usually get have just a tiny one. So I never get that really nice big one. So I definitely want to keep that and just boil the shit out of it. And then maybe fry, as I cut it off, and maybe then fry it. So the next time we got to the Wednesday market, we bought a whole chicken at a different place. It was a little bit more expensive, 150 Thai baht, $4.70. And I made sure she was gutting it. And oh my gosh, she did it so professionally, so fast. They also had a great seafood selection at that market. We also bought some fish there. There was also the Saturday night market, but of course that one was during the evening and night, and no fresh meat and seafood got sold there. So just already ready to eat food got sold there, and other stuff like clothes and other things. There was very little from the food that looked like it could be 100% carnivore. So maybe the pork knuckle was 100% carnivore, but I just never trusted in such places. So for example, they had insects I would have loved to try. I already had silkworms and saga groups in Mayrim that I bought at Makro supermarket in a frozen bag, and I totally raw, so I got to try those, and I love the silkworms. But there at the Saturday night market, there were different other insects, and I would have loved to try some, but some of them, of course, they were spiced, so a no-go for me. But some of them actually looked like they weren't spiced, but they were fried, they were deep fried. I saw the wok in the back. I'm sure that was the one they used, and I'm pretty 99.99999% sure they didn't use any animal fat to fry them. I'm about 88% sure they used palm oil to fry them, because palm oil gets produced there everywhere. And we were living on a palm oil and coconut palms farm. And I also saw only one wok, so I'm pretty sure the seasoned insects get fried in the same wok as the non-seasoned. And I'm not so sure they do first the unseasoned and then the seasoned, and cross-contamination is a big thing, so I'm pretty sure. So no, unfortunately, I would love to trust them, but I can't because of my health. I just don't want to get sick or having problems. The grilled salted fish looked like that was the only thing I could have safely eaten there. That was really 100% safe carnivore. But I didn't feel like buying a fish, and I actually only went there to watch, to see what's around and take pictures and videos. I was really just interested in the ambiance, in the feeling and all that. I didn't want to eat anything or buy anything. I didn't expect that I would find raw goat's milk in Khanom, Thailand. I knew Thailand has raw goat's milk because in Mae Rim at Rimping, I bought it all the time, love it. But Khanom being so little, I didn't expect it to find anywhere. But Jackie, our friend, she's also the one that gave Carol, our host, Nok, the chicken, and that actually picked us up from the Airbnb and brought us to Carol's home because Carol's car broke down. Oh yeah, here is the video about that. Batam, Indonesia to Khanom, Thailand, part 3. So anyways, Jackie told me, oh, she's usually getting raw goat's milk delivered from a nearby goat's farm. And so next time she will put in an order, she will also order some for me. Yay! I was so super excited to get raw goat's milk. But then Jackie texted me, the woman that she usually gets the milk from, she texted Jackie that there's a shortage all over Thailand apparently about raw goat's milk, and she doesn't have any to sell her right now. And I was so disappointed. It was so sad. I was so excited. But Jackie found frozen goat's milk on Shopee. Yes. But unfortunately, she was never able to order it from there either. But then the woman from the goat's farm texted Jackie, she has goat's milk available again. And so, of course, we ordered 6 liters, 3 liters for Jackie, 3 liters for me. 1 liter is, or was at that time, 149 Thai baht, what is $4.63. Delivery fee, 300 Thai baht, $9.33. So the entire order cost 1,194 Thai baht, $37.13 for 6 liters of raw goat's milk from a nearby farm and delivery. Paul and I paid for it. Our treat. Jackie did already so much for us, we paid for the whole thing. This raw goat milk worked great for making kefir and Philly. Here I'm making Philly, and look at this. It's separating like it did with the kefir. Well, I can't show you here anymore because here, I still have it. But it was like up here, and there was like a lot of whey that I already drank out with a straw because I like the kefir really thick. And I think this is the first time the Philly separates too. So I get really thick Philly, what I've never gotten so far. Super, super cool. Oh my gosh, so I drank the whey out because I like thick kefir, but I don't think I ever got kefir that thick. Look at this. It's like cheese. Oh my gosh, it would be so delicious. But if I eat it like this, I'm gonna lose all the grains because I would eat all the grains. Oh my gosh, I would love this. But I think I'm gonna mix it with some more milk and push it through the sieve here because I need to keep the grains. I was so happy that I could give Jackie some of my milk kefir grains and some of the Philly yogurt. Now she can make both herself as well. Oh, so super cool. So once when Jackie brought over blueberry muffins, Paul took them and said, oh, thank you so much. I will enjoy them, but she can't, she's a carnivore. Jackie said, oh, her son is a carnivore as well. That is so super cool. So once when we went over to Jackie's, we met her son there, John, and I talked to him about carnivore. And so he's not a carnivore because he has to, because of health problems like I do. He's a carnivore because he just figured out he feels so much better just eating meat and eggs and seafood or so. And he can think clearer, his brain is more sharp, no brain fog anymore. So he just likes it much better how he feels on a carnivore lifestyle diet. But he said when someone offers him a piece of cake, he takes it and eats it. So he doesn't have to be strict like I have to be. That is a huge no-go for me. No, I would get so sick really badly. Anyways, so and when he goes out with his friends once in a while, he does drink some alcohol, but just whiskey with water. But actually he always regrets it afterwards because he says the alcohol is the absolute worst for his carnivore diet. He feels it 3 days. So the cake is, he probably just maybe gets a little bit of brain fog, or is just not so clear-headed anymore. But so just gives him minor issues, maybe, I don't know. But the alcohol, yeah, he feels that actually for 3 days. He also said when someone offers him like a bit from his salad or something, he eats it, maybe a forkful or so, but he doesn't really like it. Better just meat. He likes that much better. And I'm pretty sure he also uses seasonings and not just salt, so maybe black pepper or yeah, some seasonings. So yeah, again, he doesn't have to be strict on his carnivore diet, but he just feels so much better when he sticks to it. So I think that's great. I think that's great. There are actually people out there, they are carnivores, yeah, maybe not super crazy strict because they don't have to, but they choose the carnivore lifestyle not because they have to, like me and a lot of others, because they want to and they just feel better on it. I think that's awesome. I remember when I started carnivore, or actually no, already when I was on the 30 keto diet, I basically every morning I ate a typical American breakfast, bacon and eggs. I stopped that because then I wasn't eating pork anymore for about 3 years. Now I am eating pork and bacon again, but only bacon that is clean, meaning it got only smoked and cured with salt. Nothing else. But so anyways, in Khanom at that Lotus, basically all the time they had, no, not bacon, they just had thinly sliced pork belly. So basically before it gets made into bacon. Americans call that bacon as well. Paul told me that, they call that bacon too, but when I looked up the definition of bacon, it clearly says it's cured, maybe smoked, but for sure cured. So raw bacon, raw pork belly is actually not bacon. So that's also why I don't call it bacon. I do it for certain recipes where I say, oh, bacon and eggs or bacon and stuff, but then I clarify that I don't use bacon, I use pork belly, raw pork belly. So anyways, they had thinly sliced pork belly all the time, and we got so much. So then basically every morning, Paul and I ate fried pork belly with eggs. So that was so delicious, and it just reminded me back of then when I started eating so much bacon and eggs. And actually, honestly, pork belly tastes so much better than bacon to me now because I got so used to it, and it's clean, it's delicious. There is no clean salt in Khanom, or we couldn't find it, but you can buy it online. And Carol, our host, she was so awesome. She ordered a whole bunch of stuff for us from Lazada. We couldn't do it ourselves because we don't have a Thai phone number. But I forgot to ask her if we can also order salt. And then when I asked her much later, she was like, oh, please, she had to get ready to go overseas to home. And she's like, yeah, I rather don't order anymore. So I'm like, so we didn't order any salt. I still had some clean salt, meaning just salt, no iodine, no dextrose, no anti-caking agent, just ingredient salt, like pure salt. We still had some, but not enough for the both of us for 6 weeks. So we bought at Lotus some iodized salt for Paul. Yeah, now you might think, oh, how unfair, Paul has to eat the iodized salt while I get the pure salt. Yes, he does, because he eats bullshit stuff anyways. He eats out, he eats bad stuff, he knows he eats processed foods, he gets that stuff anyways. I don't. So yes, I deserve to keep the clean salt for me, and he gets the unclean salt that he gets in other foods he eats anyways. So, but it was a little bit complicated, annoying with the salts because, well, when I cooked for Paul some meats and stuff, I just didn't salt it, and he had his own salt to salt it. But when I made pork belly stripes, like I mentioned earlier, those really, you have to salt them while they're cooking or before, so while they're frying. So I made just pork belly stripes for him with his salt, and then served that to him. Then I cleaned out the dish, and then I made mine with my salt. Yes, I'm that strict. Yes, I wouldn't get sick at all. Nothing would happen if I wouldn't clean out the pan, but I'm that strict. I want to be that strict. So if I don't have to, I don't want that iodized salt. So it was just a little bit of an annoyance, yeah, that I chose to do. Oh, and towards the end of our stay, actually, I started to run pretty low with the clean salt. Oh, actually, Carol had clean Himalayan pink salt, quite a lot. But she said I can use it, and I used quite a lot of it, but I didn't want to use all of it. I didn't want to finish it. So towards the end, I actually also used the clean fish sauce instead of salt, because hey, it's 80% anchovies, 20% salt, because the fish sauce, of course, is super salty. So yeah, and I love fish sauce on steaks, on meat and stuff. But yeah, after a while, everything with fish sauce, it gets a bit too much fish sauce. But yeah, that's also how I saved some of the pure salt. Oh, and I still had actually a lot of expensive salts from my friend from Switzerland, but I didn't want to use those up. I kind of wanted to save those for special things, for recipes. So yeah, the fish sauce was a great salt substitute. Jackie let me borrow her dehydrator. That was awesome. So I dried some beef and already cooked pork to make pork chips and beef jerky for our move to Kuala Lumpur. So that's always great. Dried meat for moving around, doesn't get spoiled. Yeah, so the dehydrator was great. I love getting infos from locals, but also anyone else about food in different countries. So if you know anything we should try, or so in Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan, New Zealand, or anywhere in South and Central America, please let me know. Put it in the comments. Thank you very much. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay curious.